Welcome to Inspiring China, a channel that brings you insight of technology, business, and lifestyle. Do share and subscribe if you like it. Your support is my motivation. According to industry surveys dated back 2010, the counterfeiting industry accounts for 8% of China's GDP, which made the country's counterfeit capital of the world. Other capitals include Russia, South Korea, Bulgaria, and Greece. India is also one of the leading global producers of low-cost generic medicines due to its high domestic demand and inexpensive manufacturing cost. Before we go further, let's travel through memory lane. From an article published by Japanese brand Suzuki in the early Meiji era, the impression of Japan as a nation of copycats was formed in the eyes of the West. Japanese copied a lot from the West, from technology to constitutional monarchy. After World War II, Japan went through the same journey as before by copying market-proven products from US and Germany that ranges from cars, cameras, watches, motorcycles, and weapons. Today, Japan ranks number 8 for most innovative countries in the world. Japan is not unique. In the early 19th century, American industrialist Francis Cabot Lowell returned to the US from Great Britain with a stolen blueprint of the famed Edmund Cartwright power loom that weaves cloth, which was the state-of-the-art technology during the industrial age. US needed the technology to industrialize the new nation. During the time, US government encouraged intellectual piracy to catch up with England's technology might. Swilling, one of many German manufacturers, at one point imitated from renowned Sheffield cutlery producers. The imitation had become so damaging to Great Britain's economy that the Parliament passed the trademark law in 1870 requiring nations to label with country of origin. Interestingly, the history of country of origin dates back to around 4,000 years ago in Egypt. And in China, labeling of place names and brand names were quite common for goods in the Han Dynasty. Depending on the industry that you're in, as Helena Pike, a fashion journalist, pointed out, copying is as old as the fashion industry itself. Fast fashion companies like Zara and H&M have built multi-billion-dollar businesses reproducing the latest catwalk creations for a fraction of their original price, and copying exists among luxury brands too. In the past few years, companies including Saint Laurent have faced lawsuits from other fashion houses. Some critics blame on the existing laws that fail to protect the fashion industry, as each country differs in terms of the protection from trademark. Counterfeit is the mother of invention, as one may say. It is a journey for nations or companies to develop and mature over time. Just like Warren Buffett's 3 eyes of every business cycle, innovators who see opportunity where others don't, imitators who follow what the innovators did, and idiots who jump on the bandwagon far too late that fail to turn into profits. But no countries and enterprises can be successful and sustainable with imitation, just like what our predecessors did in the past. That's why IP rights and protection are essential to ensure a fair environment, healthy industrial growth, and maintain leadership position. Coming back to China, since the country's reform began 40 years ago, which initiated the modernization plan for the ancient nation, which was poor and backward after suffering from the Cultural Revolution, the policymakers' goal was to revive the agricultural, industrial, science, technology, and defense industry. With the national ambition of technology innovation, IP strategy has become pivotal to China's continuous growth in science and technology. Subsequently, respective law has been enforced: trademark law in 1982, patent law in 1984, copyright law in 1990, trade secrets protection under the Anti-Unfair Competition Law in 1993. All of these are made to protect intellectual property rights in China. When the software sector that took off more than 2 decades ago, hundreds of thousands of software companies were set up in China, thanks to a relaxed government policy towards the technology industry that has provided a condition for these startups to thrive. Inevitably, these new technology firms were often labeled as copycats. For example, Baidu's search engine seems to imitate Google. Tencent's QQ messaging service has similarities with ICQ. During the first few years of soul searching and experimentations by Tencent, launching different messaging services, they finally turned its first profit in 2001 and subsequently listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange 3 years later. The biggest success was the launch of their flagship super app, WeChat, in 2011 that has secured the top spot in China's social media. Fast forward 20 years, Facebook, Apple, and Google have tried to copy from WeChat, and Instagram tried to clone TikTok. In 2018, China's IP Office received the highest number of patent applications, a record of 1.54 million applications, which constitutes 46% of the world's total, according to the World Intellectual Property Organization. The recent inventions that China has brought to the world includes the world's largest floating solar power plant, world's first passenger drone, world's largest single-dish radio telescope, world's first digital currency that recognizes legal tender, and world's first automated dental implant. This is a country with deep history of creativity and innovation that dates back millenniums, when the ancient civilization invented paper, suspension bridge, compass, and seismograph. That is no coincidence. China's true potential of innovations have just been unleashed. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more interesting topics, and don't forget to leave your comments. See you in the next episode.